coming to you live from a jungle gym. I climbed a jungle gym at the local park and I fell down and I hurt my back, and I figured it'd be just a good time to go ahead and knock out this week's episode while I got some... I have a feeling I'm going to be here for a while because there's no one around, so... I hear wolves, I hear owls. I know owls aren't a threat, but I'm afraid of them, so in a way they are. It's really just all about the fear itself, which that's really the only thing that there is to fear. And when Churchill said that, when I heard him say that live, I thought, well, then I'm going to fear, and I'm going to be very afraid. So that just gives me one thing to focus my fear on. It's fear. Thanks a lot, dickhead. I'll tell you what, if I ever meet this jungle gym, I'm gonna knock this son of a bitch's lights right out. I'm gonna turn his fucking face into a gym for my fist. So something I'm starting to notice with alarming frequency is that, pretty much nothing works correctly. By the way, I'm 90 years old, and I'm telling you about how I'm pretty sure, I feel like websites and like computers and stuff and like email, I'm pretty sure it used to work. And something recently happened where nothing works anymore. Kind of to the point where I'm like, if I get an email, I get an email. If I don't, then it's all going to work itself out either way. It's really taught me a lesson about life. Like, there's more to life than emails. There's angel hair pasta, If you don't respond to an email and your excuse is that you were having spaghetti, that's pretty much the only excuse I will accept. The other excuse is you died. But otherwise, I expect you to be looking at your inbox. I want you to be waiting there like I'm your fucking ex and you're still so obsessed with me. This is why technology isn't good. It makes people insane. And it doesn't work. So what are we getting out of this deal? So we just have to go back to witchcraft. We have to just do all that stuff again because my email doesn't work all the time. That's why. But I'm not here to tell you how to think. I'm here for you to tell me how to think. So for limited time only, if you pay $35.99, what'll happen is you can communicate with me, and whatever you say, I'll just believe whatever it is forever. I'll believe it in perpetuity. So you can create new beliefs in me for $35.99. If you're willing to go to $50, you can make me disbelieve something that I currently believe if you'd like. Like, for example, if I believe that the earth is round and you just said, hey, what if it was flat? I'm like, how much are you offering? And if it was, if it's 50 or upwards, I'd be willing to just do that. I've never really been in a situation where like someone was like trying to pay me off to like say something or not say something. So my integrity has not really been tested. Do you know what I mean? I think I might surprise myself to find out like how little it would take for me to like compromise whatever moral standards I have, whatever the fuck those are. I mean, that's the funny thing though, because a lot of people are willing to compromise quite a lot. Like some people will kind of allow like ideological battles or political battles have an outsized influence on how they identify. And so even if they might claim to have some kind of basically common moral sense that they abide by, they would be willing to throw those away if it meant they could win some stupid culture war politics bullshit. Because that's what's going on now, and that's more interesting and that's more sexy, so I'm willing to kind of invest everything in that. Whereas building a foundational set of beliefs is kind of, it's just like what like old guys with beards talked about like 1,000 years ago. Like, we're over this. Now we want to talk about like people with peepees that go in the bathroom for people without peepees. I'm not saying that that's stuff isn't important, but you can't forget the foundation, or else it's not even like if you forgot the foundation, you would be in the wrong. It's just you wouldn't really have any context for like why you even believe anything to begin with. Because you can reduce everything down to a set of axioms. And then what? Then how do you justify those? By definition, they're axioms, so they're at the fundamental level. That's bedrock. So how do you even examine that? And the more you do it, the more confusing actually it might become. So there's a good reason you don't want to do it. And so that relates to our next segment. This is the weather. Yeah, it's related to the weather. We're gonna have a guy come out. It's gonna be a different guy. There's so many fucking people who work here now, to be honest. We got Glass Johnson the next. People are forgetting about Glass Johnson. He's been full of milk for like 3 weeks, and somebody has to fucking dump him out. I don't want to do it. Glass Johnson, by the way, it's the not quite anthropomorphic, sentient drinking glass, who has really become a cornerstone of the show. As my esteemed co-host, he cannot communicate, can't do anything, but we're told that he's sentient. He's having a conscious experience. So he's along for the ride, and yes, he is a glass, and yes, he is used in his capacity as a glass, because I don't have any other glasses. I broke them all. And I think something else that was established was that Slurp Von Lipstick, the host of Time Check, is actually an undead creature who's immortal. The glass is his phylactery that's keeping him alive. I think we established this. This is just common knowledge. This has been in the tabloids. This has been everywhere. This is in the discords. This is in Glass Johnson's own TikTok. Has no followers. Do you know why? I'll let you take a wild guess. Because every TikTok he makes, nobody can fucking see him. Because he's a fucking glass. I'm saying, Glass Johnson, dude, you gotta get dirtier if you want to be on these cameras, because they can't even see you. He doesn't listen. He doesn't have ears. So now that you're caught up to speed, I guess I can introduce our friend who's waiting in the wings. I should just give a little bit of background. This is a dark side meteorologist, so this is also going to require some explanation, as no one has yet met this person. His name is Dick Minkinson. He's the weather guy, but the problem is that he sort of is, let's just say his methods are a little unorthodox. His methods have been largely condemned by mainstream meteorology as dangerous, as upsetting, as sick. I just have to dial him up because he won't tell me where he lives. He kind of intimated that he lives in a cloud. He's like floating up there like one of those guys in Super Mario. But I can't confirm, but it would make sense. All right, so Dick Minkinson, you are on the line. Welcome. What's tell us all the latest weather bullshit or whatever.
Hello.
Hey, yeah, hi. So what's going on with all the weather?
You ask me about the weather.
I think that was kind of part of the agreement, right? I don't really know what else you would do. I mean, I don't expect you to supply me with like political hot takes or whatever. Like, who are you voting for?
You ask me who I'm voting for. You ask me that. I'm gonna write in Elizabeth Warren, I guess.
Interesting choice. So you have nothing to say about the weather? Is that pretty much what you're telling me?
I can say everything about the weather, or I can say nothing about the weather. Nothing I say will change the weather.
Right, but see, the thing is, I'm not relying on you to control the weather. I'm relying on you to give me an accurate prediction of what's going to happen. Say, okay, let's start here. Why don't you just take a look and just say, what do you think it's going to be like an hour from now? Also, where? These are just really the only two things, the time and the location and the shit that's going to happen. I mean, I could practically do this. I could pull it up in a browser tab. I don't have to deal with a fucking supervillain of weather.
I am manifesting lightning bolts coming to you.
Okay, well, you just said you can't control the weather, so I'm already getting conflicting information.
Sorry, I was looking at my phone.
Alright, well, thanks for calling in, I guess. By the way, can you at least tell me, do you live in a cloud? Because you were telling me before, you said, I can't wait to sleep in my big, soft, fluffy house up in the sky. And I kept saying, do you live in a cloud? And you kept saying the same shit. You kept saying, sorry, I didn't hear you. I was looking at my phone. And I would repeat it. You would look back at your phone while you're on the phone with me. So it's like, what the fuck are you looking at? It's a phone call.
Let's just say it's pretty cumulonimbus up here.
Okay, so then it's a cloud. Okay, thanks for clearing that up.
Oh, it's anything but clear. It's in fact very cloudy.
That's hilarious. So suddenly, now that he has to go, he suddenly has jokes. Okay. Well, Gray, thanks for calling in. I hope that everything goes well. Maybe next time I could call on a more reliable source, such as, my knee or something, to tell me when a storm is coming, or like the behavior of farm animals. Maybe that would give me more information than talking to this fucking Batman voice guy who lives in the sky. Which is kind of how I think of God, I guess. I think Batman's God. So anyway, he hung up, so if you see a cloud and you see some dipshit in it, that's probably him, so try to figure out. Okay, he's calling me now. He's now calling me. Hello?
Yeah, when do I get paid for this?
Well, you won't tell me your location, so there's no way for me to send you funds. If you want me to just like throw dollar bills into a tornado and hope that's a way to get it to you, I guess that would be fine, but I can't guarantee. It's not a great way of exchanging money. Do you have Venmo?
Yeah, I have Venmo.
Okay, well, we'll just do that. We'll just get that whole thing dealt with. So, I'll just do it all in the cloud, What do you think of that? Huh? You think that's funny? And he hung up again. Okay. Well, anyway, that was the cloud guy. I really regret doing that whole feature. I really have a lot of regrets about that. It's funny because, I also regret the time check feature. I regret having ever met Slurp on Lipstick, the host of Time Check, now infamous. Now, I'm pretty sure he's a sex offender now, and I don't even remember why. There's so much data on Slurp on Lipstick that, being on the sex offender list for life, that's like a rounding error in, trying to kind of work out his whole deal. It's like he may or may not have been on the list, but it barely even matters. Considering in light of all the other things. Here's a really interesting piece of news that I think everybody should be aware of. Tomorrow is the 5th Wednesday of the month. Do you know what that means? We're all getting shit-faced, we're all partying because we don't have to move our cars. No street cleaning. And I just want to take this 5th Wednesday to just show our reverence to the parking gods. May we always find the most optimal space for our vehicle. And when we die and we go to parking heaven, we hope there are plenty of empty lots with plenty of space to park any kind of vehicle. If you pay me, let's say $100, I'll stop believing in parking heaven. So this is the thing, if you believe certain things, it makes people really, really pissed off because they're like, it's stupid. And it's like, well, here's the deal. $500, I will stop believing it, and you don't have to be mad anymore. And then you get to be right. This seems like a pretty good deal. So anybody who disagrees with me on anything, this is an open offer. If you want to convince me that Elvis is still alive and he took over for Santa, who died in 9/11, it's a long story, then I'll just believe you. I'll believe anything like that. You really can't disprove it. You can say Elvis died. Somebody went to his funeral. But maybe he just slipped out the back. This is my one thing about, the Jesus story that I've never really heard explained away. Somebody had some reason to go into the tomb. I mean, he was a famous guy at the time, a locally famous dude. There seemed to be any number of motives for someone having snuck in. But there are like 3 basically historically agreed upon facts about Jesus, which was that he, existed at that time and place, that he was crucified by the Romans, and that people after his death claim to have seen him. So those are basically the 3 starting facts, because that's the thing that, secular historians and religious historians basically agree on. I think we're missing something. I think there's probably something real to it, but I just think we're missing a big piece of it. But hey, who knows? Hey, maybe, once again, you throw me a few $100, I'll just become Christian. But then if somebody pays me more money to become, start worshiping like a god from like the Elder Scrolls, then I would just do that. So anyway, everything else is gravy. Look, we both got to get through this. We both have to get through this. I'm kind of picturing you just like sitting in a completely empty room. You have like just a pair of headphones on, and you're listening to this, and you're just staring at the wall, your mouth is open. You completely lose yourself in the incredible world that I'm creating for your head, inside of your head, quite literally. It's kind of unsettling to know that my voice is in your head. It should freak you out. You should be grossed out. Because really when I'm talking and I'm making a noise, I'm making sound waves, which themselves don't convey any qualitative information. It's only quantitative. You can scientifically measure a mechanical wave traveling through the air. But there's no scientific instrument that's going to tell you what it actually is going to sound like to you, other than an ear and a human brain. So, because you need a human ear and a brain to reconstruct the waves and make a representation of them that is useful to you. So the medium in between, the space in between, it doesn't exist in our perception. Not what it really is. So all the stuff that's out there is just information. So the only qualities that exist in your mind. So if I say something, then the word essentially just goes from my mind to yours. And all the stuff in between, it's gravy. So yeah, so that's why it should be gross. Like you should be like, it should creep you out. It's weird. It should freak you out. It should shake you to your core. So yeah, well, I guess it's starting to sound like maybe we need to bring out Slurp Von Lipstick, something that I think I'm the only person who says that. Nobody else is looking forward to Slurp Von Lipstick. The only context in which you want Slurp Von Lipstick is just if you have to fill time. That's exactly what I need right now. So here he is in all of his glory, in all of his. He's covered in rainwater. It's not raining. Okay. Well, anyway, here he is, Slurp Von Lipstick. Hey, it's me. Hello. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Anybody have a towel? I'm on that drip drop shit right now. It's not cool to be wet. It's not charismatic to be wet. This isn't what people expect of me. I can explain. I was in one of those big, human-sized hamster wheels. I went out into the ocean to see how long I could go in the hamster wheel. A cruise ship came out of fucking nowhere. Those things are all over the ocean, I guess, and it cracked my goddamn wheel right in half. So I just swam back here. It was really far. I don't live in the past. I look to the future, and I look to the present, where the time is 10:33 p.m. Where do you think all these minutes are coming from? All these seconds, all these hours? Somebody has to make those. You think it just comes out of the fundamental structure of reality? Wrong. We gotta make these fucking things. And some of the hours and some of the time we're making, it's not good. I got all the time in the world, as has been established. I can't die. Not as long Because my good friend Glass Johnson is still letting light reflect through his shiny ass. He doesn't really have an ass. I mean, he has a bottom. Is a bottom the same as an ass? It depends on if he's sitting or if he's standing up. Obviously, if he's in sitting position right now, I would say the bottom is his ass. But if he's standing, I have a lot of questions about his anatomy. And so this is why I help make time, because I'm going to be around for the rest of it. Or until Glass Johnson breaks. So I'm here to like keep things going, you know. And so if I die, there's no more time. You know, everything's just going to happen at the same time. That'll be fun. There's not going to be anything to separate that shit. You're not going to understand any of that. You're going to have all your the rest of your birthdays at once. And you're going to be dying at the same time. And you're going to be going to the store, and you're going to be going to work. You're going to be able to process all that shit. I'm here to help you make sense of this. Because my true nature, unless I haven't been clear about this, I am of course a time wizard and I control time. Unlike that fucking weather guy who doesn't control the weather, I actually do control the time. Makes us value Glass Johnson a little bit more, doesn't it now? He may be famous for other reasons, but right now he's keeping the fabric of reality together pretty much, so... And me. What else is going on with me? Got my 23andMe done. I said I was mostly made up of like dirt. Called them up and I said, what the hell does this, what do you mean? And they said, yeah, it's not like you're related to dirt. It's just like there's a bunch of dirt in your shit. We don't know. We don't understand it. It's kind of lowered my self-esteem a little bit to think I'm like mostly dirt. At the atomic level, do you know, like that sucks. And they said the other was just like, the rest of it was just Irish, so... That's just my luck, you know what I mean? Well, you know, that's been my time, and then it's been your time as well. It's going to continue to be our time. You can have it. I'm making it for you, so make good use of it. Yeah, so that's pretty much, I think that's all I had. Shout out to Taylor Swift. I don't know. She's in the news, so I'm just shouting her out. See you later. Alright, give it up for Slurp. Yeah, that's right. Let's hear it. So yeah, so if you're on the old information superhighway, I'm on one of the one of the internet dirt back roads. Whatever brought you here, like whatever like links you followed, that was kind of like following like a trail into the heart of a very dark forest. You have no idea where you are. I don't even know where the fuck you are. I have no information for you. This just is what it is. Because you're stuck here with me. In this jungle gym where I've heard not a single soul. Other than Slurp Fun Lipstick, who came here to do time check. It would have been nice if he gave me a ride, but I didn't see him come here in a car. He just came out of the woods. One good thing though is that like, sure you're in the middle of the forest, but I did leave a trail of treats behind. So like, here's the thing, at the very least, at least you got some treats out of it. So one of my New Year's resolutions was that I'm gonna do a dry January, which, as you know, that means you don't take a shower all January. No, I'm kidding. I shower I shower almost daily. But you can skip a day or two every now and then. It's completely fine. It doesn't matter. Like, nobody can hurt you with their smell. They're not gonna harm you. It's too much of a big... We should make fun of how people sound. That would be better. That would be much better. Something like, focus on something that can't change. It's much better to do that. You actually should just never judge anyone for anything ever. Because, really, if you're judging other people, you're just kind of judging yourself. It's always going to be a reflection of something that is lacking in you that you're identifying in other people. Because it's much easier to look outward than to look inward. And it's why the more egregious the thing, the more you judge the person for. As in putting as much distance between a world where you do that thing and a world where they do that thing. And you create that distance by hatred, basically. Like, that guy's a piece of shit. He murdered someone's entire family. And maybe what that is, maybe, is that it's a fear of your ability to do that. But there's a cognitive dissonance because you deny that you ever could. And so instead of facing that dissonance, you sublimate that into just hating the person. But brother, hate the game, not the player. It's within the capacity of any human to do really horrible things, especially if they start making those compromises that I was talking about. Because they can later be convinced that those things can be justified. And maybe they can, maybe they can't be, but those fundamental assumptions should be pretty solid. Not just like, what is the short-term benefit of committing whatever horrible act I feel compelled to commit? Why bother thinking about how this is kind of like rotting me to my core? But because I don't really look at my core, I'll just pretend it's not happening. But you can't really live like that. And I think that could be just something that's going on under the surface for a lot of people. And it would kind of explain a lot that's going on the social and cultural levels. And so when people always say, well, it's not that deep, dude. I don't know, you can really say that in a world where so much is unexplained. There's so much about human nature that is just kind of written off as being kind of uninteresting, or just epiphenomenal of something else. But this is really just kind of a way of thinking and trying to just sort of put things in boxes based on probability, but kind of ignoring everything that doesn't fit into those boxes. So if you really think that's how the world works, and yet the world is all like broken and fucked up, or in more generalized terms, just very complex, then you think in that kind of world, maybe you just have to try to go as deep as you can go. And then once you've identified the bottom, then you can work from there. And be like, well, whatever reasoning got me there, maybe some piece of it revealed something that could be useful. And then you keep trying to apply that to different patterns, and then you just do your scientific method to it and say, does this particular way of thinking, does it hold up to the evidence? Is there a philosophically justifiable assertion that doesn't contradict anything that we know to describe the world? Because if it's both of those things, then I think that lends it some weight. It certainly doesn't prove it, but it lends it some. It tips the scale in its favor. Sorry, I'm getting a call from our weather guy. Hey, hello?
Is it okay if I list you as an emergency contact?
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
And he hung up. Okay. This guy's got no phone etiquette at all. And I'm doing him a favor. I'm his emergency, and he's calling me now. What the hell? Hello?
Hey, yeah, were you just speaking to the owner of this phone?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, his head just fell off.
It fell off, or somebody cut it off?
It just came off.
Like naturally?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, he's one of those guys who he's an evil meteorologist. What else can I say? Well, that's all I have time for. I have to go eat a piece of meat now. Just one. Bye.